Welcome to Rewatch and Rank. On this channel, we rewatch older TV shows, provide a summary and opinion on the episode before ranking each episode against each other. Today's episode is Solo Leveling, Season 1, Episode 6, The Real Hunt Begins. Episode in a nutshell is a brief summary of the episode. So we pick up where the last episode left off. Jinwoo is about to face the dungeon boss, which is a giant spider, and he starts to fight with the weapon that he won in his instant dungeon against the spider. And as he is fighting, Jinho is watching and likens him to a false ranker, somebody who can control their mana or magical output enough to give a false reading, putting them in a lower ranking than what they should be, and this usually is used for nefarious purposes. However, obviously we as the audience know that this is just because he's been leveling up through his system, and just as he is about to potentially lose because his fatigue has gone over 70, he remembers that he didn't get his quest rewards for that morning yet, and as such he is able to use his full recovery to eliminate his fatigue, and then he comes back faster than the spider expects and manages to defeat the spider boss. After he does so, Jinho is calling him boss or Anarchy and is, offering to like mine for him and carry the bags and like super scared of him even though he's done nothing to him at all. And the raid team that had left, they come back to basically think that they're going to find their bodies, but instead they of course find the boss dead. They at first assume it was Jinho and his expensive equipment that did it, and they, catch Jinwoo unawares and knock him into the wall, where he has a bit of a crisis of, why am I being victimized again? Oh, wait, no, I'm strong again. Oh, look, the system has given me a murder quest. I'm going to do this. But as, he's doing that off to the side, the raid team is basically saying, Jinho, we looked you up on, the internet. We found out your dad's like super rich. So, you know what? If you kill Jinwoo and become our accomplice, we'll let you live. And Jinho, of course, knows that it was Jinwoo who killed the spider, and so naturally chooses to stand by Jinwoo's side instead. And this is when Jinwoo then rises up from the rubble of the wall and, in a very epic battle with an amazing background music, kills them all. And then when they leave the dungeon, Jinho covers for him, and the investigator also assumes that it was Jinho's equipment, same as the raid team, and therefore they get away with this murder and go their separate ways. And we also find out that because Jinwoo completed the quest, he did get a reward, including a murderous intent skill. So now that we've been reminded about what happened in the episode, we'll now rank the episode. As always, we'll be ranking on our mostly objective ranking list, followed by the personal ranking list. So, mostly objective rank values. We have some preemptively introduced multi-episode supporting character introductions. We have Park Hee-jin, Gina, and Lee Bora, who are 3 female adventure hunters who are in the big guilds. One's with the White Tiger Guild and the other 2 are with the Hunters Guild, and they're having tea talking about the trainings that they're doing in their guilds and their future like raid leaders, and also about, the lizards and dungeons, those raid teams with higher than normal vitality rates. And then we have the multi-episode supporting character development, which is Hwang Dong-suk, Cho Kyu-hwan, Gu Jun-tae, Lee Chul-jin, Min-suk, and Jin-suk. They all die because they triggered a quest, which Jinwoo took on because the penalty of him not doing that quest was his own life, and when you're in a corner, you're in a corner. Then we have the multi-season main character growth. He got the murderous intent skill from completing this quest, and also leveled up from defeating the boss. So that's 4 points there. And then we have the world building aspect where we learn about the existence of false rankers and the possibility of false ranking, which previously would have not been something we knew about because we obviously knew they measured mana to determine the rank. But the fact that there were some people with enough mana control to trick the machine, we were not aware of until this episode. And then we have our negative messaging or behavior, which is -2 points each. First, of course, is threatening and or blackmailing. Obviously, as mentioned, the raid team threatens Jinho and Jinwoo, and so that's bad. But also, they kind of blackmail Jinho in a bit because, you know, they basically say, you become our accomplice, that way we have something to hold over you so you can't tell people about this, and then we'll let you live. So that to me is kind of blackmailing adjacent, or rather, if that threat had been followed through, it would have turned into blackmailing rather than just being threatening. But in this case, it was a threat. And then, of course, we have murder, and this is the first time that our main character is murdering humans. He's defeated a bunch of boss monsters to this point, but not any humans. This is his first time killing fellow hunters, and so that obviously is negative as well. But the -4 points for those things does not even make a dent. It is a 10 out of 10 episode, and finally, for once, it's rightfully a 10 out of 10 episode. And so, our mostly objective ranking, as always, when more than one episode has the same score, they are ranked in episode order, bringing our list so far to in first. I'm used to it. If I had one more chance, it's like a game, a pretty good deal. This episode is fifth. The real, oh my goodness. Sorry. The real hunt begins, and then in last place, I've got to get stronger. Now, my personal ranking is different. So, I gave it a 9 out of 10. Why was it a 9 and not a 10? I finally got the action. We got the murderous intent. We got the like fun smoke fumes. We've got amazing background music, which I rarely notice the background music. So the fact that it stood out to me and was very noticeable shows that it was very good background music. And it was fighting at the start and fighting at the end. Well, the reason I did that is because it took us away from the fighting in order to show us a little practice bar between Gogunhee and Woojinchul with like the Hunters Association. Like, why do I care about this? This is not the time. I do not want to be watching this. And then also it preemptively is bringing in characters to express conversations which we didn't necessarily need at this particular time because they're in future arcs. They're not supposed to be in this one. And that not only skews the mostly objective ranking because you're preemptively entering in characters that weren't supposed to be there yet, but also, again, it takes away from the fighting, and the fighting is the interesting part. And that's the fun part, and the exciting part, and the part that gets the adrenaline flowing and pumping, and that is what I want to see. And I do not want to be dragged away from my epic action to have like 3 people having tea or a little practice bar. Like, that's not what I want to see. So, everything about the actual core of the episode was amazing and I loved it, and I would have given it a 10 out of 10, except they kept pulling me away from the action to do these little side things that I genuinely, genuinely, genuinely do not care about at all. Even a little bit, not a little bit. And so, for that reason, I gave it a 9. But that does put it in first place. So we have The Real Hunt Begins in first, followed by A Pretty Good Deal, I've Got to Get Stronger, It's Like a Game, I'm Used to It, and then in last place, If I Had One More Chance. And then we come to the series ranking so far, and on our mostly objective ranking, we have a score of 58 out of a possible 120. And on the personal side, we now have a score of 37 out of a possible 120. But with that, we've now rewatched and ranked Solo Leveling Season 1, Episode 6, The Real Hunt Begins. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next episode.